All right, hello everyone. I am Brian. You are Chords and Notes Nation, and we are back with another full album review. And this time, I am going to put out the review before I do the track by track reactions. This is actually kind of new format for me as far as reviewing the album before the songs. And I just wanted to try something different. So, and I had a little bit of workout, so I needed some music. So I figured what I'd do is just pick an album, do my little workout, listen to it, sit down, relax, soak it in, and do a review. And I chose Folklore by Taylor Swift because I have not done a Taylor Swift reaction in a long time. Those of you who are members of the channel, subscribers of the channel, you understand why. A lot of things going on in not only our lives over the past year, but my life specifically. And I'm at that place where I can start getting back into a regular rhythm with doing these reactions. So what I'd like to do is just take a few minutes here and kind of go over what I liked, what I didn't like, what the highlights are, and just kind of speak to the album itself. And I understand that the highlight, the big hit off of this album, I believe, was Cardigan. You guys let me know on that one. First of all, what I wanted to say was, compared to the other Taylor Swift songs that I've listened to, this had a completely different atmosphere to it, and I think that was by design. I was doing a little bit of research on it because there were a lot of songs. I mean, overall it wasn't a long album. I think like 63 minutes, which isn't too bad. Most albums, I think, I don't know, are usually 45 minutes, but that's, rock and metal is what I usually listen to. So pop albums, I don't know if they typically have an average amount of time that they recorded. You know what I mean? Kind of stumbling over my thoughts there. Excuse me, but that was probably the first remarkable and noticeable attribute that this album had, was just a total different style than what I'm used to hearing from her. Granted, I haven't listened to every album or a song from every album at that in her career. I think there's been 8 studio albums, and then some live albums, compilation stuff, that sort of thing. And from what I understand through interactions with those of you who have commented, she kind of changes up her style from album to album. And then, of course, I've noticed that in some of the songs. But this was a departure for her, I think, from what she normally has done. So, it really, to me, that was what was most noticeable. Her voice is just a wonderful voice, and I don't seem to recall any moments in that song, or in that album, excuse me, that where she was just using the full force of her voice. It was all rather subdued and gentle, but even within that, there were a lot of different dynamics and a lot of different things that she did with her voice. And it is such a pleasing voice. It's the kind of voice you want to go to sleep listening to. For sure. And it's just so relaxing, the whole atmosphere of the album. I think the lyrics were very easily accessible to anyone. They weren't complicated lyrics. They were more I think more you get a little bit more third person perspective here in this album, where she's telling a story about someone. It's not I or us. Although some of that's in there, it's more third person from what I listen to, and just this idea. I've always loved the types of songs that tell stories about other people, that have some sort of greater connection to the audience and the artists themselves. Um, there was the one duet, um, well, the only duet on there. I think Bon Iver was the name of the gentleman who was singing with her, and that was a really good song. I enjoyed that. The songs that I liked the most off of that album were The Last Great American Dynasty, Exile, and August. Those were the three that, to me, made a connection musically that really drew me in. That doesn't mean that I didn't like the other ones or there weren't other better songs. It was just, obviously music being a subjective experience for each of us, there's going to be something within an entire course of an album that we gravitate to. And I mean, if there were three people here, we may all agree on the same songs, or we may all disagree on the same songs, and this person may have three songs that they like that are different than mine and different from this person. So, it just is what it is, right? Uh, Dislikes. I think every once in a while there was some swearing in there, and I've never been a fan of swear words in music. Um, it just, I don't know. I look at music as art, and yes, art is self-expression, and but I always thought art is best served when it's done in a creative, not so base way. And when you start throwing swear words in, it kind of just, I don't know, to me it just lowers the artistic integrity of it. If that makes sense. But she didn't do it often, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. But if I had to find something that I didn't like, that would be that. And the other thing is, I just think there were too many songs on the album. I think there were like 16 songs. Even though the length of the album was good, I would have preferred to have longer songs but fewer, rather than as many short songs as she's done in so many. Because I don't think she's really. It's almost as if she was kind of regurgitating some of the same themes about heartbreak and confusion within relationships and that sort of stuff. And I know there's so much more that she was getting to, but this is just an overview. And I really think a lot of it could have been condensed, and maybe if she had like 11 or 12 songs that took up that space, it would have been, to my taste, a little bit better. But overall, I think it was a really good listen, and it is one of those albums. I have albums on my excuse me, on my computer that I'll bring up if I want to fall asleep listening to music, which is always a nice thing to do. This would be one of those. It's just such a relaxing feel, and her voice really just kind of soothes you and carries you away. So that's what I have for this album. I did like it. I think it was probably about if it was rated out of a 5. See, I haven't listened to too much of her music, so I'm gonna go middle of the road on this one, and that may upset you guys, especially those of you who are fans of her music, because you're just so passionate about it. So don't take this as a bad thing. It's just I don't know that much about her music, so I can't say this is a 5, because if this is a 5, that by default means everything else is less than a 5, because you can't get better than a 5. So is this the best piece of work she's ever done? Probably not. Is it pretty close? It could be. It could be about a 4, but I'm gonna go about around a 3, 3.5, maybe pushing to 4. I'm gonna dance around between 3 and 4 there, because I'm not quite sure where it fits within the pantheon or within the Taylor Swift canon of music. but that is not to be taken as a bad rating. I think it's good. I do. I really do think it's good. So, whatever. I'll settle with a 4. It's good. I liked it. So there you have it. Be well, stay well. God bless you. Joshua 1:9 and Galatians 6:9. Those are 2 very important scriptures to get in your heart and live. And you guys stay safe out there. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.